All right, so starting off today's show is going to be buy or sell, a rapid fire round where I give you and Eleanor a certain topic regarding DC or Marvel, and you simply buy or sell. Whether you believe it's going to happen, you sell that you don't think it's going to happen, you buy that you want it to happen, or you sell you don't think it's a good idea. All right, and starting off with number one. So we got two actors in this, Michael
Okay.
Rosenbaum and Stephen Amell. Michael
Both are great.
Rosenbaum recently said that he wants to return as Lex Luthor in the DCU for James Gunn. Stephen Amell also confirmed he would be up for returning as Oliver Queen, aka Green Arrow, for James Gunn's DCU. Eleanor, buy or sell? Do you think that this was going to happen, and would you want it to happen?
Okay, buy that I want it to sell. Buy that I want it to happen. Jesus, words are hard. Sell that I think it's going to happen because I think James Gunn's wanting to disassociate from everything in the past, and I think that also includes the CW and even Smallville. Although I would love to see Rosie come back, and I would also love to see Stephen Amell come back.
Right, right. Yeah, I gotta agree. I'm gonna just hardcore sell both, just because I think it would undermine kind of already the retconning and rebooting steps that we think they've already taken with getting rid of Henry Cavill as Superman, potentially not having Gal Gadot around as Wonder Woman. We'll talk about that. And of course, so many other projects being canceled. It wouldn't make sense to reboot the live action just to bring in some former live action TV adaptation of
Right,
these
exactly.
former characters, even though Michael Rosenbaum, for the win, is the best Lex
Top
Luthor
tier Lex
of
Luthor.
all time. It's hard because it's a TV show, so you get a long time to adapt the characters, but still, those two characters, Stephen Amell included, amazing as Green Arrow.
Oh, yeah.
Number two, could Christian Bale return in the MCU as a different character after the kind of disappointing run as Gore? Christian Bale said, a good story is a good story. Eleanor, buy or sell that Christian Bale could return in the MCU as a different character?
Hard sell. Hard sell. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're just going to be like, all right, well, we fucked up using Christian Bale, so we're just going to move on from this. I think that would be a good move for them. Don't try to, I think it would be almost be like sloppy seconds. Like, just don't try that again. Just, you messed it up once, just don't look back and move forward.
Now, I do think that there's always a good comeback story, and Christian Bale is one of the most phenomenal actors in
yes, very
Hollywood
talented.
today, and I think that he's yet another example of an actor that was kind of misused as a villain in the MCU. We saw that a lot in the early Phase 1 era of the MCU movie, so I'm going to have to unfortunately sell this as well. A good story is a good story, though, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if maybe in Phase 5 or 6 they have a certain project in mind where Christian Bale could return, and he would look much different than Gore, of course. Number three, Sentry, a character that neither me or Eleanor are very familiar at all. The only thing I know about him is just what I've read is that he's kind of like a Superman-level OP character in the Marvel Universe. That's pretty much all I know. But there are rumors that Sentry could be appearing in Captain America 4, starring Anthony Mackie, and maybe even Thunderbolts. Now, Eleanor, Sentry is a character that some Marvel fans have wanted since the early MCU days, and even wanting Sentry solo projects. Now, you're not a big Sentry person. Now, me neither. But from what you know of Sentry, is a character who's a godlike character. There's not too many of those that you could say is godlike in the MCU that is still yet to be introduced. Now, obviously, if you really scour the MCU and the Marvel library, of course you're going to be able to find dozens. But with a following like Sentry, I think it's debatable. Do you buy or sell that Sentry could be coming into the MCU very soon?
Buy. I think so, because they need another tough character in the MCU. Right now, my brother refers to like characters that don't take damage well but can do a lot of damage as squishies. I think they have a lot of squishies. Like, yes, Deadpool can be chopped up into little bits and regenerate, but he's kind of squishy because you could probably kill him still. or like, you don't have like your Superman, like your really invincible person,
You got
other than
Thor
Thor.
and Hulk and
Right. But
a
you have
few
like a
examples.
few, but they need like another superpower. So I could definitely buy this. Definitely.
Captain Marvel. There's definitely huge powerhouses in the MCU. That's not what
Right.
we're saying. But
Right. I'm just saying
godlike
you're
characters that have yet to be introduced, like
right.
Sentry,
Right.
with a major following like Sentry. I'm also going to buy this, even though these are still just rumors. I think with the kind of failed introduction of characters like the Eternals, Marvel should be looking at characters like Sentry, and it would make sense for him to show up in projects like this. So I'm going to go ahead and be optimistic about it and give it a buy. Number 4, the legendary actor Harrison Ford will be stepping in the role as Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, replacing the late William Hurt for 2024's Captain America New World Order, starring Anthony Mackie, as well as the upcoming Thunderbolts movie. Now, there might be some hinting from Harrison Ford himself that he may also be transforming into the Red Hulk. Now, Red Hulk, once again, like Sentry, is a character that neither one of us are very familiar with. But in the comics, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, who is in the MCU very anti-Avengers, very anti-metahuman, is now going to be reportedly played by Harrison Ford. When Harrison Ford was asked recently in an interview about why are you now playing in a Marvel comic book movie when you've said in the past you've had fatigue over Star Wars, and he said, well, I want to do things now that I've never done before, and this is something I haven't done before. And they said, okay, well, is there any potential that you could actually be playing a superhero or maybe doing some CGI motion capture? And he smiled, and he kind of did the motion of zipping your lips and locking it like, nope, I can't say a thing. So Eleanor, with all that being said, buy or sell?
I don't know. I would probably have to say sell just because I love Harrison Ford, but he can be kind of like your grumpy old grandpa that like likes things the way they are.
Wants to troll ya.
Right, exactly. So I could see him being like, "Nope, I can't tell you that we're doing CGI," and everyone gets excited, and then the movie comes out, and it's like, "What? Where's Red Hulk? What are we talking about?" So I don't know. I would probably say sell, but Harrison Ford's a hard one to read.
I'm going to buy because unfortunately the way that they've treated Mark Ruffalo's Hulk in the last few movies has kind of been underwhelming, and the introduction to She-Hulk has been very critically divisive, and they also introduced another Hulk in that movie, or in that series, excuse me. So I'm going to buy that they absolutely, totally could and should introduce Red Hulk. It's a character that fans have wanted to see since, I remember there were rumors of Red Hulk in Age of Ultron days. I don't know if I'm alone in that, but Harrison Ford as Red Hulk. I mean,
Very
I
interesting.
absolutely would have loved to see William Hurt, and may he rest in peace. But seeing even, how Mark Ruffalo is kind of modeled after the Hulk, or the Hulk, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
the
vice
Hulk,
versa.
right?
Yep.
Seeing Harrison Ford in a Hulk version could
I
be
know that's why my
either
brain is just having such a
it
hard
could
time.
be
I'm like, how can Han
horrifying
Solo
or
be the Hulk?
amazing.
Right.
So I'm gonna buy it. And our final buy or sell topic: WB reportedly begged Todd Phillips, director of Joker, to take charge of DC just a few months ago because no one in town wanted it. Now, this was obviously kind of a reactionary move because WB was looking at some of their directors and say, hey, this guy did something really great, took an adaptation, did something that was different, made $1 billion at the box office, had Oscar nominations and wins, and critical audience and alike loved the movie. Not everybody, of course. So they were looking at all of their options, and everybody apparently was very scared and hesitant to take this job, rightfully so, because you don't have a producer working for Warner Brothers who's produced 14 DC movies before the DC Studios DCU was formed, like you did with Kevin Feige, or 13 or 14, whatever it was. So they were looking at Todd Phillips, who had done, the Hangover movies and Joker and some other movies as well. Some is hit and miss, some are great. And was looking at him to be the Kevin Feige of the DC Universe. Do you buy or sell this report? Do you believe that it actually happened? Do you believe everything that I said, or do you think that all of this is just made up and that we should just totally throw this out?
Well, I'm gonna say that I buy it because I don't think that this is a job that a lot of people wanted. And I heard that in many, 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 many reports that
Right.
they
It
were
was
having a
widely
hard time
reported.
finding people to actually do this job. So I think Peter Safran and James Gunn took a very hard position. And I don't blame Todd Phillips for being like, you know what, I'll pass the buck on that one. I'm not interested. Yeah, I think that is a really tough position that they found themselves in. I mean, I could go on and on about it, but I'm not going to drone on about it.
And it's interesting that, honestly, looking back at it now, that back during that time, I remember James Gunn was asked
Yeah, I remember
by
rumors
fans,
about it
and
back
he
then.
said that the position that Walter Amada and Kevin Feige have, I would never want because it is way more that I could handle. And my passion is being a director and writing and producing, and being in that position, I wouldn't be able to do those things. But here we are today, and it sounds like he's still going to be writing, directing, producing,
That's why he has Peter
and
Safran, I
and
guess.
Peter Safran alongside him. So whatever you guys think of all of these, what are you buying and selling? That will conclude buy or sell for this week. Thank you for joining us, and we'd love to see what you are buying and selling down in the comments below.